more question?
Yes, this is for both candidates. We have been represented here for so many years by Frank Wolf, and for so many of those years, Frank Wolf never had a real legitimate challenge to be reelected, and I don't think he would have debated anybody even if he had. And so here, at least in Fauquier County, we're not quite the negativity of this campaign. I think it's caught a lot of people by surprise. How did this campaign get so negative? And more to the point, if you could go back and hit the restart button on your campaign, would you do it the same way, or would you make some changes in the approach? Gentlemen?
Oh, you want to start with
you?
Well, you know, from my point of view, we both started out trying to be positive, and one of the things that came up in the campaign that I think Congressman Hurt would probably view as a negative thing is my very, very strong opposition to the uranium mine down there in the southern part of the district. And he said I'd attacked his family. Well, it turns out that his father's a major investor in that mine and has been a great champion. All the people down there in the south part of the district all talk about how his father works with those people and is trying to get the mine open. And I think it's the wrong thing to do. We don't need a uranium mine in Virginia. Our country doesn't need it. It's not safe. It's going to ruin our air and ruin our water. And Congressman Hurt takes money from the uranium company, and he's voted in Congress to try to keep uranium mining out, pull it out from under the Clean Air Act and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So, you know, those are tough political things for him to answer. And his reply was to go out and hire these swift boat guys that went after Max Cleland and John Kerry and come after my patriotism. And, you know, in some ways I'm kind of flattered by that, you know, because if the only thing that he can come after me is my 35 years of public service and all those years where I defended America, then, hey, let's take it on.
Well, let's be real clear about something. Nobody's ever, you know, you can complain about it all you want, but nobody's ever attacked your patriotism, and I'm not going to do that here. But I will say that the ads that we have run in our campaign have been factual, they're accurate. I think when you stop and you think about the $16 trillion of debt that my children and your children and grandchildren are going to have to pay because of the revolving door corporate influence of people like Mr. Douglass and the things that he has worked for during his 9 years as a lobbyist representing the largest defense contractors in the world, making sure they got the sweetest deals. Let me tell you something. Those are real. They have those, and those issues have real consequences, and people should know about it. Now, I will tell you that that I do think I couldn't care less, honestly, whether or not you oppose uranium mining. That's not the issue. I have a lot of friends who are vehemently opposed to uranium mining. I, in fact, myself have said that I would not lift the ban on mining uranium unless it can be done safely. Well, what you said is you've attacked my family and said I have a personal interest in it, which you know is a lie. It's just a bald-faced lie. And I can tell you that, you know, Billy Bob down in the country, you know, they don't take kindly to folks that walk around telling lies. And that's the bottom line.
Well, can I have a rebuttal to that?
General Douglas?
You know, that's a pretty tough charge, lie. Now, let me tell you, folks, you know, the issue here is your father Henry Hurt? Does he own stock in the mine? Now, you might not say that's a conflict, but let me tell you, when you're in the military and you sign up to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, any member of your family is not allowed to be in any business that you're dealing with. That's the way soldiers look at this.
You've told lies. I'm sure that's not part of
it. The second thing I said was that he took money from the uranium executives. That's in the Federal Election Commission reports. Now, folks, you can go look this up. That's not a lie. And then the third thing is voting against.
Your Honor, the uranium mining company can't.
Congressman Hurt, you'll have a chance to have the last word on this.
So you can go look these things up. You can go see the yeas and nays on the farm dust bill, where Henry Waxman put an amendment to make sure that the farm dust bill, the part of it that involved uranium mining and uranium milling, was under the EPA, and he voted against that amendment. Now, these are all matters of record, folks. And so, you know, if he wants to call me a liar, you know, I could take him to task on some of the things that he said about me. He said, said I was a lobbyist for 9 years. I wasn't a lobbyist for 9 years. He knows that. He knows that's just not true.
Congressman Hurt, final word before we head to closing remarks.
People probably heard more than they want to hear about all this, but I can tell you that I do think that you know, I stand by the things that we've said in this campaign. We've run a campaign that is about jobs, that is about reducing the debt in this country and balancing our budget. That's what this campaign is about. My opponent has made this campaign all about uranium mining, and it's, you know, I think at the end of the day, people will see through what it is. It's a desperate political attempt to exploit a very important issue for his own personal gain, and that's what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have closing remarks. If you can keep your applause until after both candidates have completed their closing remarks, please. And as before, General Douglass, your remarks will be first, and we'll follow up with Congressman Hurt. You have 2 minutes.
Thanks. Folks, if you came into this meeting tonight undecided, I hope I've earned your support with just direct answers. Not a politician, I'm a soldier. I've tried to answer the questions as factually as I could. This election is really about Wall Street and insurance companies and special interests versus people. My opponent was one of the top 10 freshman recipients of PAC money in the Congress. That's not a lie, it's documented fact. We know from these super PACs and so on that these millionaires and billionaires and corporations are trying to buy this election. And he's making fun of me about, teasing him about walking around the district and the Billy Bob comment. I have a son named Billy Bob, maybe that's why it came out. But you know, folks, I don't need to walk around and talk to people, okay, to understand what common folks are going through. I've been hungry and had no money. I've been sick and had no health care. So I know what the people in the 5th District are going through. I don't have to walk around to learn about that. And let me tell you something, the reason why I took on this uranium mine issue, because it's a clear and present danger to Virginia. My opponent keeps saying it's a state issue. It is not just a state issue, and even if there were some convoluted logic to make it a state issue, if it threatens the lives and the welfare of our people, I would make it a federal issue. So, you know, I care too much about this not to take action to help Virginian families get a good job and learn and create a career. This is about empowering people with security and opportunity and get America to lead the world again. Lead with innovation and democracy, not with some oligarchy run by 1% of our people who have millions of dollars to buy these elections.
Thank you, General Douglass. Ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Hurt, you have 2 minutes for your closing remarks.
Thank you, Philip and Bill and Lou. Thank you all very much for your help tonight in helping, I think, inform these nice folks here and at home about what the issues are and about what we as candidates stand for. There's obviously a very, very important election in less than 30 days. And I really do believe that as folks that I have talked to across the district, people like Billy Bob, they say this is the most important election of our lifetime. The reason that they say that is because we are now, for the 3rd year in a row, at 8% unemployment. We are now approaching $16 trillion in debt. We borrow 40 cents on every dollar we spend. And if you think that I've said it too much tonight, I'll say it again. We are borrowing 40 cents on every dollar we spend every year to support this massive debt. And guess who's going to have to pay? It's not going to be you. It's going to have to be your children and my children and our grandchildren. That's who's going to have to pay this, and that's why this election is so important. We're on the wrong track. We've had a previous Congress and a president who's given us a president's health care law. That's given us $1 trillion in stimulus spending to so-called create jobs that never materialized, and a cap and trade scheme, the kind of thing that will run the cost of electricity up for every man, woman, and child, every family in this country. These are the policies that we get when turns out we need jobs. My opponent says the first thing that he's going to do when he gets to Congress, he's going to join the Transparency Caucus, the Financial Reform Caucus. Good grief. We have 16% unemployment. We have 16% unemployment in Martinsville, Virginia. Those people are hurting. They need members of Congress who are going to go to represent them and who are going to create jobs, work to create jobs in this country, balance our budget. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being in attendance tonight. I'd like again to thank our sponsors, the Greater Warrenton Chamber of Commerce, the Fauquier Chamber of Commerce, and in particular our candidates, Congressman Robert Hurt, General John Douglass, our panelists, Bill Emerson of the FaukierNow.com, Bill Walsh of Fauquier Times Democrat, and especially you all in the audience. Thank you very much for being here tonight.